Ah, nice cup of coffee going. Hey, it's Sarah. I'm back, and I'm going to be mixing things up a little bit with the vlog, where I'm actually going to be giving you the raw, unedited version of the podcast that you can hear right on the NextGEN Medium vlog page here on YouTube, which is also going to be on my website as well. Just going to mix it up a little bit of evolution, baby. Uh, I had some time away, and one of the things that I really enjoyed was going on YouTube and listening to talks and all kinds of different information, different. That's my mainer coming through. No apologies. Um, Listening to the different information that was on YouTube, and I thought, hey, I think I'm going to do that too because I would listen to stuff that was a half hour long, sometimes 2 hours long, sometimes more, on YouTube, and as much as I love doing my entertaining videos, and I think there's plenty of them for you guys to enjoy, I wanted to bring that podcast, that conversation element to my YouTube channel. So that's what I'm doing. Nothing like a good cup of coffee. Alright, so I'm back, and I'm gonna start recording my podcast and fill you guys in on what's been going on since the last time I posted anything, on the website, on this vlog, on my podcast, and, give you guys a couple of, pointers, I think, that would be good for your journey, your soul journey, whatever it is that you're on right now in whatever part of it you're in. These are sort of the things that, you can take away from my experience in the NextGen Medium mission. In my journey myself. All right. Had to get my recording going here. And I got some notes. Let's see how far back they go. All right. So instead of flipping through pages, I'm just going to tear these out. This is the ASMR portion. Sibilance. Okay. All right. This is how the podcast is going to go. Now, I am a little worried because my volume's a little low. I don't know if I should freak out about it. Maybe I'll turn it up a little bit, which is the last thing you're supposed to do in a recording, but it's what's happening and it's just happened. So here we go. All right. This is the 4th time I've attempted this video, which goes to show how much I can get in my head about things. Um, I guess I was just a little worried about coming back. Like, how do you do the perfect thing after being gone for 5 months and getting people re-engaged? And so I guess that's where I'm at, and that's my problem. All right. It goes a little something like this. Okay. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm back. It's been quite a while since you've heard from me. If you just started the Next Gen Medium podcast stuff, then you probably haven't noticed a 5-month lapse since the last episode. If you were following me in the very beginning and then all of a sudden I disappeared and you felt like I was ghosting you, um, thanks for listening and coming back. Um, I think there's some good things to take away from my little journey away from the Next Gen Medium um, stuff. I'm trying to think of what exactly Next Gen Medium is, and it's sort of the stuff that I've gained in my experience, what's become my truth in knowing how soul journey works with your intuition. At first it was really focused on the psychic stuff because I think we're all drawn to that word psychic and thinking that it could be us. I think that's really intriguing. When you hear intuition, you don't for me, I'm just not as intrigued as I am with the word psychic or medium. But I am finding through my journey, intuition is a huge piece that we need to talk about. But anyway, we're gonna get into that. But what's gonna be important in your takeaway with this episode is that sometimes your soul journey takes you places you don't plan on going. And there are times when your intuition and your soul are telling you that it's time to go a different way. And your job is to listen to that. And as much as you plan, as much as you make those goals and decide what your purpose is going to be, there are times when sometimes you just got to go with the flow and let things happen. As much as part of you wants to complete something, there might be something that takes you another way just for a little bit. And then you can get back on that main road to get to where you need to go. And so that's what this year was for me. Just a little bit of this year, not a whole bunch of it. What is it that takes you from that path and is sort of self-directed? Is your soul, your intuition talking to you? That's inspiration. When inspiration strikes, that is your seize the moment kind of thing, kind of message that you need to take away. And that's when you are working on your goals, but maybe the goals that you didn't plan on working on right now. And that's okay. That's a part of the journey. So there are some important points for you to take away and to be mindful of in your own journey. And that's just one of the bigger picture kind of things. The timelines and the goals that you make might have to be rethought. As committed as you are to them, um, sometimes something gets in the way and you got to go with it. And don't hold yourself to those goals if something else has a bigger purpose for you. You may need to make your these offshoots, what may seem like distractions, may make you aware of the needs that your body has, that your mind needs. And it's not just all about feeding the soul or just feeding the mind or just feeding the body. There is a balance of all these things. I am the worst when it comes to balance. I am an all or nothing kind of person. When I feel inspired, I go all in. And sometimes I leave one of those components out. And that is something I've become more cognizant of, more aware of in my spiritual awakening self in the past couple years. Also, an important point is to allow the process to happen organically. Forcing things can only get you so far. I am a huge believer in putting yourself in the right place at the right time. And a lot of that has to do with you believing in yourself and you giving yourself a chance and you preparing for a moment which could come. Um, but I'm also a big believer that fate takes the reins half of the time. And sometimes y- you're just not aware of how that's going to happen or that it could, especially when you get off course. Inspiration and your intuition gets you to where you need to go. It may seem like it's off the path that you plan, but planning your path is only half of how things work. I do believe that putting that effort in, putting that intention in, putting those skills, getting them ready and being prepared, I think is on us. to be there when the moment strikes, when you are meeting your path and meeting your goals. But I do believe there is other things at work that are out of your control, and you have to be okay with that. So those are the things we're going to talk about this week. Whew, that was a lot on Next Gen Medium, the podcast. How about that for an intro? Bam! I'm in the zone. The 3 other times that I've done this isn't gonna be on the podcast, but the other times that I did this, I just could not focus for the life of me. And maybe I just needed a lot of coffee. More coffee. I'm trying to drink it before it gets cold. I hate cold coffee. All right, this is when I gotta do my intro. Hey there, Sarah Nickerson with you. I created NextGen Medium, and there were a lot of reasons why I did that. One is because I had a spiritual awakening a couple years ago, and it inspired me to learn about psychic ability and intuitive stuff and mediumship. And it was through my experimentation and the results of these experimentations and courage and fear and overcoming fears and recognizing things that I became aware that these skills and abilities were my own. I also became aware that I can't be alone in this and that this must be available to everybody. And I can see how it can be. I can also see how people could be on this journey already and not have the courage to say that I'm a psychic, I am an intuitive, I am a medium, and that's not fair to you. These are the tools you were born with. This is part of being a human being, is having these tools. Our society just can't deal with it in some ways. So we are here on the precipice of the new understanding of the human experience, and this is going to be a part of that, a part of this awakening, that there's more to the human experience than that can be touched, and that science can explain right now. I believe science has some catching up to do with this particular aspect of human consciousness. Oof, I almost went off on a tangent. I won't. But anyway, Next Gen Medium is about you discovering this stuff for yourself, you becoming aware of this stuff yourself, and you taking control of this aspect of your life. Because for me, I have seen it I've seen myself gain self-confidence and self-security in who I am individually, my spirituality. Years ago, I connected religion and spirituality. Those were the same thing to me. And so to think now that I am a spiritual person and I'm deep in it and I'm trying to talk to people about it, it would be something that I probably would not believe. 15-year-old Sarah probably would be like, but I'm not a religious person. But through my years of understanding and creating my own theories, and then through my own spiritual awakening a couple years ago, it was, holy crap. Spiritual isn't, you know, what are those called? Incense and crystals and pendulums and crystal balls. Like, that's not spirituality. This is sort of hijacking of spirituality in some sense that makes me cringe. Um, but there's a very instinctual component of spirituality that we can all connect to, and we all do. And it is a part of our culture to some extent, but maybe that awareness of how it is integrated in our culture, um, that awareness of that it is connected to spirituality. I think that is sort of a defining that needs to be kind of brought to light, and what further understanding you can gain from this instinctual skill, this intuitive self. I think this is the greatest tragedy of mankind is that we just don't have that awareness of this amazing tool that is in it's in our toolbox right now. It's in yours. It's in mine. And it brings so much self-security, my individual self. It puts things in a different priority. It makes things that used to be important to me not so important. It brings me gratitude. It brings me appreciation, um, and empathy and sympathy and compassion. And these things are so important. And if you're watching or listening, if you are listening to this right now, you understand that these things are important. That's why you're here. This is the next gen medium experience. This is what I bring to you. So let's talk about my soul journey, the meandering I did. So, up until this point with NextGen Medium, you've heard me talk about what I've learned. Nobody taught this stuff to me. It was more of what I accumulated and what I grew as my truth. Some stuff I did research, and a lot of the psychic types stuff I researched because I didn't get into that, but I thought it was important for you to know if you are looking to get into the psychic stuff. Um, so the stuff that I have told you, this is my understanding and my truths. So when I say, it's the ego that's bringing that fear, it's because I experienced that. I've understood it. I've been able to analyze it, practice it, and find that this conclusion is pretty right on. And my time away from Next Gen Medium um, was actually a time to really hone in on all this stuff that I kind of started developing theories about and understandings of, and really found that I had built a fantastic foundation for myself through these observations, through the regurgitation of telling you guys my stuff. And I think it was really important for me to go over what I experienced, what that meant, what that could mean for somebody else, because I can see that this can help you on your path. What I want to bring to Next Gen Medium, I'm going to go into this in a little bit, but what I want to bring to Next Gen Medium is I've only been in it for 2 years, which sounds like a long time, but when you're 35, when you're 35, I always say 36. Stop it, Sarah. When you're 35, it's really not that long of a time. When you're 21, it is. Come on, brain. What were you just saying? Uh, uh. I've only been in this for a couple years, and I feel like I've really grown an outstanding foundation, if I must say so myself, of how this all kind of works. To say I didn't have resources like books and going to YouTube and all that stuff, that would be a lie. There is stuff I see on YouTube that I'm like, I get what they're saying because I've had an experience and this is a part of my truth. So I can understand how that could be how things work. But there's plenty of stuff that I come across where I'm like, this is kind of hokey. Or this person, I don't really resonate with this person. So I don't know if I could really hold my truth to what they're saying because this person isn't really jiving with my energy. There's something going on here. And I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards me. I think they feel like I'm being honest. I believe that people feel a trustworthiness that I've gained um, with you. And that's why you keep listening. I mean, how far into this podcast are you? I think we're 17 minutes in. Ridiculous, first of all, that it's 17 minutes in. But, here you are listening. There's something about me that you guys like, and that's good. There's someone that you trust, and this is a very vulnerable journey, and you deserve someone who gives it to you straight. Maybe putting things in lights that in a way that you didn't recognize, like, "Oh, geez, I didn't realize I was maybe n so negative in my thinking that it's affecting this," you know? And it's not that I wanna put anything down, it's more of like, I wanna tell you how I understand it, and I wanna give it to you straight. I had one lady that I talked to, and, she was talking about how I had talked about the ego and how, um, the fear of success was also the fear of failure. And, she said, "That really got to my heart, that's me, and you were talking about me." And it's like, I the way that I know that that's the truth is because that's me too. Like, I have to tell these truths to myself. And sometimes there's things that I can say, and then, later on, I feel what I said, and I feel how that hurts, and I get that. But this here is a way for you to be able to feel like you're in a safe place, to, be able to listen to someone who's gone through it relatively, recently, to have sort of a mentor who's maybe a couple steps ahead of you. That's what this is all about. There's nobody else out there who's like, "Oh, I just started doing this 2 years ago. Listen to me talk about stuff." It's kind of crazy, and I get that, and there's a lot of times, and there's a reason why I've recorded this, like, 3 or 4 times. Um, there's a part of me that does go, like, "Who the hell do I think I am? Talking about this stuff, the way that I talk about it," and it's like then there's another part of me that's like, "There's a greater good here." People are connecting with this because they're brand new at it, and you're either brand new and people aren't talking about it because they're not aware of what you know, what you experience, or what you have an awareness of yourself, or there's people who've been doing it for 40 years, and they're talking about it and that they've known about these skills their whole life, and, they talk about it in such general ways that it's really hard to connect with their experiences, what they're saying, their teachings. And so where I'm so new at it, I know what it feels like. And I know the battles that you're having because I'm right there with you. And as much as I think like I've gotten over some hurdles, I revisit them and they're coming back, that fear of success, fear of failure, that's coming right back right now to me because I'm taking the next steps with NextGen Medium and I'm building a business. Like, doing the paperwork to start, getting the tax number and doing all these things that are the next step for Next Gen Medium, and I think there's a part of me that's very overwhelmed by it, um, and I don't have a lot of confidence in myself when it comes to having that big picture of business stuff, so I just gotta go through it, just gotta know what my next step is, just work on that next step, and then get to the next step after that, and that's exactly what you need to do when it comes to your spiritual journey. I am talking like a mad woman, and it's this coffee. It's great coffee. Pike Place, no sponsors, not yet. Alright, let's talk about my little break. Oh, man, I'm all pent up with great conversation that I wanna bring to you guys, and I'm really excited. Um, so, up till now, you've heard about, sort of my regurgitation of stuff, and it was a look back on all these things accumulated from the experiences I had in initially pursuing the psychic intuitive mediumship world. You saw all that stuff. You heard all that stuff. So there came a point, and it was about May. Mind you, this is the year of COVID, so everything's fucked up, you know? But, this is May. It's getting really nice out. I live in a state where it's cold, like, 5 months out of the year. So May, 50 degrees is becoming the norm, which is really warm for me, and and that time of year, it's getting beautiful, it's getting green, the birds and I really felt drawn to go outside all the time. I wanna be outside and just entrenched in stupid projects that are fulfilling to me. I was starting to get bored with the timelines of doing the blog, podcast, vlog. Every week, I would come out with something new for you guys, and I seriously have subjects for every week of the year. I had this all planned out before I even started the NextGEN Medium thing a year ago, almost like a year ago to the day that I'm recording this. Like, I had everything planned out for the whole year, every subject I was gonna do, and every week I'd produce a vlog video, I'd produce a podcast, and I'd create a blog post with artwork and social media stuff and graphics and editing and all this great stuff. It's so fun. It's fun to do. It's hard to do by yourself when you got a full-time job, you got 3 kids, coronavirus is raging, everything's abnormal, and upside down is inside out, and it's all crazy. So, there's just a lot going on, and as much as it, um as much as it re-energizes me and refocuses me to develop new routines, which coronavirus really did for everybody, but for my story, yes. Um, I think I get bored sometimes when I have a routine after 2 months that just goes very well. And I almost feel like I have to throw something in the mix just to have a little abnormalcy to make it interesting. That's part of my deal. Um, but with that redeveloping of routines, you have to learn to adapt and create a new flow, and then you start building your expectations on how that flow is gonna work, and then after a while, I master it, you know? And then I get a little bored of it, and so I think that's where I was back in May, and then the weather's turning, so we got a couple things going on here. Sarah's getting bored with doing the projects, even though I'm intrigued by the subjects. Um, then there's the weather's getting really nice, and then there's that one thing that I couldn't fulfill, during the winter and when I'm sitting on my ass and working on projects all the time, and that's the physical body. Like, I can't fulfill the needs of my physical body. So, with that, it was time to go outside, and it was time to play. And so everything took a hiatus, and it actually took me, like, from the time I decided to take a little breaker to the time that I actually took a break. It was actually a good 2 months. So it's not like it was an instantaneous thing, it was kinda planned out, and it was like, "Alright, I've earned this, I'm ready to do this." And so I know you guys are with me on this journey, and as frightening as it is to stop a podcast where you as the listener or you as the viewer, you guys are expecting something every week. That is what is expected of a podcast, that is expected of vlog posts or blog posts is either something every day, something twice a week, or something once a week. And there's sort of this fear of, as a content creator, that if I take time off, I might lose my audience. I might lose that engagement. But here's where that fear isn't that big of a fear to me. I believe you are on a spectacular journey. I believe I am here to assist you with that journey. I believe there's a trust you have in me that allows me to be able to take care of myself. And I would want that for you as well. And so I don't think there's any specific amount of time that I could have taken off that I wouldn't have felt that guilt or that kind of fear, that what's the word? That expectation that is on me, that I put on myself and that I feel like others could put on me. That's that ego fear thing coming in. But I know there's another side of it where I'm a human being and it's okay to do that. It's okay to take some time to do something else, to be something else, to feel something else. It's all part of our soul journey. It's all part of our physical body journey. It's all part of our mind journey. So that was initially why I wanted to take some time off. I wanted to seek out consciousness. I wanted to listen to other psychic mediums, hear their viewpoints, see who I feel like I resonate with. That was a big word this summer, resonate. Who I don't resonate with. And actually, I did come across a medium that initially I was like, wow, this person's really cool. And then the more I listened to where she came from with things and some of the people that she admired, I realized I don't resonate with this person. And I signed up to take a class for her of hers. And then I decided not to do it because I took some time to kind of research her and found this isn't jiving with me. This isn't working right now. Maybe I'll revisit her at another time. But it also gave me the chance to get readings from other psychics, other mediums to see how they do it. Um, Even though I do that myself, I want to see how other people do it. I think I'm interested and I'm curious. Maybe there's something I can pick up about how they did their reading that I want to bring to my own readings, you know? Um, I also wanted to get back in touch with my intuition and get back into intentions. This is another subject that I was engaged in was intentions. There's one talk in particular that I came across and it's really kind of reframed how I talk to myself and where I put my focus and my energy on when I have a moments, when I have a couple moments to wait, or when I'm laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, throw out a couple intentions. It seems like a silly thing, but once you start doing it, and especially this talk I heard, I gotta find a link, get you guys the link to that because it was outstanding. I hope I can find it. Um, it really did kind of change how I thought about things this summer, and so I will put a link on my website so you guys can check that out. That was really cool. I also got to so when I would do these things, I gotta mention this. So when I would do these things, outside, I was building a hill, I was carving out a hill, I actually made, like, a fireplace, like a fire pit out of a hill. Um, I made, like, a patio area where I could sit and look out and have a little lookout and feel the breeze under a tree and be really nice and a quieter part of my property. I also redid my deck, which was something I wanted to do. I knew it'd take a lot of time, and boy, did it take a lot of time. Um, and gained an appreciation in power washing, which I would recommend to everybody. Power washing is the shits. In the post, I'm gonna make a post on this. I'm gonna give you the link to this lady doing the intentions talk, and I'm gonna post like a gazillion power washing porn videos so you can you can enjoy the power washing yourself because it really is outstanding. But when I would do these physical things, I would have my earbuds in. I would queue up something on YouTube, and hopefully it was like an hour long, and I would press play, put it in my pocket, and let it go. And I came across Eckhart Tolle, who I'd never really heard of before, but holy crap. Wow, you guys, if you haven't heard of this person, and I don't know how you're listening to this podcast and you haven't heard of this person, but I'm the one who does the podcast and hadn't heard of this person. So he talks about consciousness. He talks about religion. He talks about some really outstanding stuff. And I'll have to put a couple of. He actually did an interview. Who did the interview? That actor, Russell Brand, did an interview with Eckhart. And this was the first time I really came across Eckhart. And usually I'm not a like seeking out Russell Brand kind of stuff, but this talk was outstanding, and I'll have to put a link up of that. I also heard some other spiritual talks with him and another spiritual guy, and outstanding stuff. Stuff that's really inspirational, that really opens up the possibilities, the understanding of this spiritual world that we all are a part of is just ridiculous. Good, good stuff. Also I got to listen to some NPR. What a year for NPR. um just the political stuff, the cultural stuff going on here in the United States, and around the world. That's one thing that I really do like about NPR, especially on point with Magna Chakravarty. It's just an outstanding program. And so those were some of the fun things I got to listen to while I was doing the physical things. That felt good for my body, where I could be in the moment and I could be sweating and getting dirty and seeing the instant gratification of doing the projects that I was doing. It felt good. It was different. It was challenging. It was exercising, which I don't really get to do a lot of. Also, a part of my identity, I don't see myself as a fit, strong, you know, physical person. So this was a way to exercise that identity and evolve it. And it's something that I still want to work on to this day. So the second half of the summer comes along and I'm getting projects done. I'm listening to Eckhart Tolle, listening to NPR, but I want to return to do more training. So I regurgitated all kinds of stuff and I thought about it and created meaning out of it that made sense to my truth and my experience and presented it to you guys. And then I wanted to revisit my training. I wanted to see how these truths stood in a new time. A year later from the first readings that I did, I wanted to get back to doing readings. So one of my goals, when I first set out to see if I was a psychic, if I was a medium, if this was real life, one of my goals was to do 80 free readings, 80. So I only got like 26 done the first time around. So here I am during this past summer going, there's like a bunch of readings I could be doing, and trying to maybe reach that goal that I had set. And so I thought this was a great opportunity. I could get in touch with doing readings, which is something that I want to continue doing. Get my feet back under me, kind of revisit how to do it again because it'd been a while. And I thought I developed sort of a way of doing readings that worked for me. So I set out to do that. And I put up information on the website, nextgenmedium.com, on my Facebook, everywhere I could with the podcast and the vlog and all that stuff, to reach out to you guys to say, hey, I'm doing free readings. Get a hold of me. Let's do this. I wanted to see how things had evolved. Um, and with that, revisit fears that I still have. I still have fears. I still have things that I'm trying to get over. And it's through being face to face with those fears that I can truly evaluate, all right, this is how I feel. What is this really? What's really surfacing here? Is it something that's survival that I'm afraid of? Obviously not, or else I wouldn't put myself in this situation. I'm not running from a fire. I'm not drowning. So it's not survival. It's always about the ego for me. Um, what of my ego is getting in the way here? And it's always, always being wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I want to be right. I bring in good intentions, and I have to find a phrase that brings me comfort when I go into a reading, which is simply, I just got to let the imagery come and give them what I got. If it's right, it's right. If there's more investigation I got to do into that imagery, I got to just let things come. I'm not going to dismiss anything. That's not my job. My job is to receive and to relay. Whether I'm talking to someone who has died and wants to connect with the person I'm reading, or if it's me getting things psychically or intuitively, I am receiving, I'm seeing it, I'm interpreting, and I'm relaying. And that's my job. My job isn't to say, oh, Sarah, what if you're wrong? That's not my job. That's someone else's job. I know it's not my job, even though I do it. My job is to talk myself out of it and say, focus. Don't pay attention to that because that just gets in the way. Focus on the imagery. That's where I know my skills are in my clairvoyance. Also, feeling the emotion or feeling pain, which can be related to, the symptoms of whoever's passed on or to the person in front of me, which it's always astounding to me when I come into a reading and I feel a pain that the other person is feeling, the person I'm reading, even though it's video chat. One example, I had a sore throat for a couple days, and it was getting me a little worried, especially during COVID. Like, I don't care what Google search you do, there's gonna be something, some sort of symptom that's gonna come up that you're gonna be like, "That's COVID." And so, I came into a reading and I said, "Hey, I've had a sore throat for a couple days. Have you had a sore throat for a couple days?" She confirmed that she had, and then my symptom was gone as soon as I confirmed it. And it's just one of the things that I'm capable of doing, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's just how it works, okay? Um, but it was really cool to revisit being a student again, to revisit the fears that you have, the f revisit the fears and the aspects that I had forgotten about and that you are probably going through too. And so that's stuff I can talk about, you know? It was also very comforting to draw upon the conclusions I had already made and that I talked about with you guys, and to have it re-solidified for me, like reconfirmed after, a year of not doing readings, of theorizing, of creating my truth, having my truths continue to be my truth. Like, I built a good foundation, and I found more confidence in my understandings and in my readings. I found myself coaching myself too. And I think when I was able to, the ego episode that I talked about, a lot of that stuff draws on me looking at myself objectively. And then there I was in the process of doing these readings again. And I'm turning to my own information to go, okay, is that my ego? Yes, it is. That is my ego. That's my problem. Yes, stop it. So, I also found it quite interesting that my readings had changed. How I was doing my readings had changed. the imagery was new, um, when it comes to the references that I was getting, having to explore what the hell these new images are supposed to be a message about, or, seeing people evolve into other things. Um, the clarity in which I see them is different. Um, their presence is close to me. Um, their feelings are inside of me. Um, it's always astounding to read somebody and to cry with them. And there's a part of me that's like, "Sarah, you shouldn't be doing that." But then there's another part of me that's like, "But I am feeling it, and it is real. This is real. This love I feel for this person that I'm getting from that person, it is real." But I found myself really gaining more trust in the process, in the fundamentals that I had built. And this is the big one for this episode this week. Damn, this is gonna be a long one, you guys. So revisiting those readings, getting back into being in the moment, being present, have focusing on intentions, seeing synchronicities happen again is always exciting, but now seeing patterns in the synchronicities. Synchronicities are patterns, right? And now I'm seeing patterns in the patterns. It's just like my brain explodes with this stuff. Um, and I feel like there's been an evolution with NextGEN Medium, and it's beyond me now. With these readings, I got to meet you. I got to meet the people listening to the podcast. I got to meet the people who are going to the blog. I got to talk with you, to connect as a student. We are students. We are always students, and yet we are always masters. This is such an important thing to know about you, is that you are the master already. How are you the master? That's what we got to uncover. Meeting you validated my experiences by being able to compare my experiences to yours. And I think me telling you my experiences helps validate you. Um, and in that way, I can help nurture your talents, your skills. They really are skills because everybody's got these talents. And if everybody's got the talents, then who's got talent? Like everybody, everybody's got it. Um, so NextGen Medium has moved to a different place in that this is you and me now. This is us. NextGen Medium, this is us. We are nurturing each other. We are validating each other. We're being skeptical together. You can't take away that skeptical component because then you're just giving up. Like you're giving in to the possibility of not having truth. We want truth. Skeptical and validation. These are what we want. I'm also seeing that your experiences aren't mine, which is so critical of the spiritual experience. Your experience is your experience. It is your truth. It cannot be my truth. And that's what makes your spiritual person unique. And it's also a journey I can't take for you. I can help get you there, but I can't give you your truths. You got to build those for yourself. You got to feel them. And there was some stuff that I created truths for myself that were really theoretical and had some logic stuff to it. But then I would feel the truth later on. And that's when it was confirming for me. That's what it is. And your issues that you guys come across are now something that I can reflect on. I would never have come across these issues on my own. Seeing new issues in being the student. I can only have so much awareness being a student. But when you are bringing things to me, I get to see a wider spectrum of being the student. Just like the stuff that I come across being a student. Maybe you don't have that periphery of that angle like I do, but I can bring that to you. And so you guys are bringing new stuff to me. And I could not do that by myself. NextGen Medium has pivoted. Pivot? Pivot? That's from Friends. Remember Ross trying to get that couch up the stairs? Every time I hear that word, that's what comes to mind. I am open to the experience. I am not fearful of my experiences. I did not grow up religious. And I also had a couple people to talk to about this stuff. These things hold me back as understanding the wide scope of being a student. If you do not have the openness of your experiences, if you are fearful of your experiences, if you grew up religious or in a religious household with other people who really value their religion and really adhere to the strictness of their religion, or if you don't have someone to go to, these are issues that we're going to talk about because you brought them to me. Seeing and experiencing the moment from this summer, noticing patterns through synchronicity, validations, becoming recentered, regrounded. These were things that were good for me, good for my soul, good for my body, good for my mind. And in turn, it created a new incarnation for NextGen Medium. And it's you. It has evolved and now it's about you. And I'm really excited to take on this new NextGen Medium path because this is your path now. I want to be there with you. I want to help you nurture. I want to see you gain the trust, the self-confidence, the self-security. If there's anything we've learned this year, yeah, I had to think of when this is going to come out. It's going to come out in a couple of days. When we think about this year, what is the takeaway of humankind? They can't control themselves. They need someone to tell them what to do. They need someone to tell them what they shouldn't be doing. There's a lot of things where people need other people to take control. And being in your truth and being aligned with your energy, that self-security is there where you do what's right because it feels right. You're not questioning logic. You're not waiting for other people to follow them. You're in line with yourself. You have your own self-truths. You have your own purpose. You have your own way of doing things, which ultimately aligns with being a good person, feeling good, which aligns with being a good person, doing the right things. Where that takes you is your own path, it's your own journey. And you got to feel confidence with that. And these are things that I'm taking away from 2020. And I want you to join me because you You are the next step in NextGEN Medium. So what does that mean? This is where I'm going to end the podcast. And I'm going to take a drink of coffee. I have completed some goals with NextGEN Medium. So now I will be offering readings. I will be offering consultation sessions. So there's a difference there. So readings is my psychic intuitive mediumship stuff, where you come to me and you say, just tell me what you got, you know? Whereas the consultation sessions are more about, let's have a conversation about what you experience, how you experience it, what do you need help with? And if you're not sure, let me help fill in that blank. Okay. I have big plans for NextGEN Medium. Excuse me. Is that coffee coming up? I have big plans for NextGEN Medium that really focuses on you, that community that wants to be aware of the soul, how it affects you, how it affects how you make decisions, how it affects how you do what you do. We're going to, I don't want to say what it's going to be, but it's going to be focusing a lot more on you. Online community, training materials, and our big word for this year, this coming year, intuition. Intuition became something that I did not realize how important intuition was until I sat down and I talked with Elizabeth Thorson, the medical intuitive, which you may have heard a bunch of episodes back, or maybe you've checked out on the vlog. The full interview is on the vlog, where I sat down and talked with her about medical intuition. She is an awesome lady, and she set me straight on a couple things. And when she did, it opened up my awareness. It's hard being a part of the spiritual world because there are terms you know, terms you don't know, definitions of terms, depending on who you talk to, how things used to be done and how they're done today. And it's like, will someone just lay it out? No, nobody's laying it out. So I might have to invent some terms just to gain some clarity on some things. But intuition, this is our foundation. This is our core of our soul talking to us. There's a language in intuition that we need to learn. And it's not my language of intuition. It's going to be different than your language of intuition. It is individual. It is for us to discover. And with that language of intuition, we start gaining trust in soul, that it is mine, that it is above me, and it is facets of me, and that it is part of a collective whole, which is crazy cuckoo spiritual stuff, but it kind of makes sense. Furthermore, subjects we will get into because you brought them to me: religion, trust, confidence, self-security. These are all things that have to do with your intuition, with your psychic abilities, with your mediumship stuff. And these are things we're going to be talking about and are going to be core subjects to come. There it is. There it is. So I played outside. I got to revisit my inside, talk and my inside I don't know where I'm going with that. That's going to be edited out. So I went outside and I played, and I got to reconnect with my soul, and I got to play again, be vulnerable again, be a student again, and get my feet under me with a foundation that was already set, with understandings that I didn't have before the start of my journey that kind of got me on a good platform to begin doing readings again, and that I got to bring to you guys who are students as well and masters. And sometimes you guys would just come to me just to say, "Hey, I can do this. I can do this. I've experienced this. I can do this." And then I would just be like, "You're a psychic." And then you would be like, "What?" And then I'd be like, "Yeah." And then you'd be like, "But like officially, like I'm like, yeah, you it's what it is." And sometimes that's all that people wanted. People just wanted to hear from me because they resonate with me and they trust me and they've heard the things I've said. And they just want to come to me just so I can say, "Yeah, you're a psychic." And it's fun to say because I love seeing people's reactions to it because then they're like, "Okay, well, what now?" You know? So that's always the fun part. Get you going. Um, there's nothing more exciting than to see somebody feel validated. And because I had to do that for myself, you know, it's really cool. I'm honored to be a part of that. And here we are together, helping each other, finding our own truths in our own journeys, but with each other. Okay, I got to end this because this is going on for way too long. NextGenMedium.com is the website. That's where you can book a reading or book a consultation session with me. Now, you will have to pay a deposit to hold the date because I get no shows and it really irritates me. So you can thank other people for that. Hey, podcast, you're listening to it. You can hear this stuff on my website too, as well as the vlog. I'm on YouTube with the vlog, but I do put that stuff on the website too. And of course, I got the blog. So if you like to read stuff, maybe you like to look at my artwork that I do, because I love doing artwork too. You can see another side of me with that stuff. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Pinterest, and here we are. It has shifted. Next Gen Medium, starting a societal shift where awareness is just a part of life. And we're just learning the tools that we got because it helps us. It helps us be happier people. And it helps our society become happier people too. It's true. And it's not just about happiness, though. There's more to it. But that's for you to figure out. Oh, that's how I'm going to end it. Chin up, stay safe, be present, and be the change. It's all about evolution, baby. That's it for Next Gen Medium. I'll chat with you later. See you, bye. Next Gen Medium out. Oh my God. That is so long. I don't even know if I can put this on YouTube because it's so long. All right. I'm going to stop my podcast. Okay. So that's it. Starting a new chapter on Next Gen Medium. And I'm glad my circle light got lots of attention this episode. Nothing bugs me more than that circle light reflecting off my glasses. And thank you, Coffee, for bringing me the energy to have a great conversation with you today. Cheers. I wish you the best for the new year. And I'll chat with you guys again soon. Bye-bye.